and welcome to the City of Benicia Online Permit Center. We're going to get started with our tutorial 3, which actually walks through the process of obtaining your permit and getting the inspection scheduled. So to get started, here's the major steps that happen in any permit process. Now, each permit process does vary depending on the complexity, from a simple re-roof all the way to a full new construction. So they don't all have the same number of steps, but it'll range between 5 and sometime all the way up to 15 steps. But generally they'll go through these major phases. First, the application is reviewed for completeness and additional documentation or information is requested depending on what's needed. Next, the plans get reviewed. Then fees get issued and get paid, which can take place online or in person. The permit is issued upon fee payment. Then inspections get scheduled, and inspections actually take place and the permit gets finalized. So to get started, we're going to jump over to our permit center. And to get started, we're going to get ourselves oriented to the My Account page. So in this page, you have your dashboard is where you start off when. You can see all the major steps on all your permits at this point. You can see any actions required, any messages received from the city, as well as any permits that have been issued and applications you have open. You see I have one that has a draft, and if that's something that I no longer need to work on and I want to delete that, I can go to my applications on the left-hand side, and you can see a draft along with the delete button. I can hit that and hit delete and get rid of that application. Now going back to our dashboard, we're going to walk through one specific building permit to get a general overview of that. So to get there, let's click on our applications, and we're going to do building 22-339 for this permit. So once the permit loads, it'll give you an overview of your actual submission. Now, these are details that you entered when you submitted the application. If anything here needs to change, the applicant cannot change this information, but you just communicate with the city staff and they're able to update any of these if your project does change. Now, as I mentioned here, you'll see your building permit number in the top left-hand corner. Then a couple of different sections here, the submission page is where you start on. Next, you can go to the attachments. This is an important page, especially if you have to upload any additional information as the process moves forward. If you have something that doesn't fall under these categories, you can scroll here down to the bottom, and you can always add an additional attachment that doesn't meet any of these descriptions. So remember, that's where you can go if you're requested for additional information or documentation. The next spot here is called Guests. This is a great feature for you to be able to add access to additional people to be able to enter the same application. It's really useful for complex projects, and just remember that guests will also have to set up an account, but all you do is enter their email here, you hit grant access, they're sent an invitation, and they'll be able to access this application the same way you can by going to their account and clicking on it. Now let's dive into the actual process of the permit issuance. Every permit first gets reviewed by the building division when it's submitted. You can see here I did an example comments. So you can always communicate to the reviewer or whoever is assigned to that step by using these comments boxes down below. For example, I entered hello, wondering on the status of my application, and I received a comment coming back to me, just giving me an overview of the status of it and what to expect moving forward. Any instructions for a step will always be found up here right below the step title. And you can see here, if I do have any questions, there's always the phone number and kind of the turnaround for it being processed in 1 to 2 days. On the left-hand side, you'll see you have a couple of different icons next to each step. A green icon means that step has been completed. A gray one means it was either skipped or waived. And then finally, a blue one, that means it's the active step that we're in. So you see this permit has gotten down to the issuance fees. These steps here are usually just for being able to check and review and communicate back and forth for the applicant to make sure the application is fully vetted and reviewed and ready to be a permit issued. So we're going to jump down to the fee step. Now, as I mentioned before, City of Benicia accepts payment online as well as in person. You can see at the top, we have an itemized list showing a nice transparent documentation of all the different fees that you have to pay, and then your payment options. So here we can pay with a credit card online. You'll see there is a processing fee for paying credit card online, but there is a fee-free option by using your bank account and paying by e-check. For example, if I click on Pay with Bank, you can see we use a third-party Plaid as your payment option, and you'll just enter your banking information in there with that vendor. Nobody at the city sees any of that information. We just get confirmation that the payment's been made. Same thing for credit card. If I want to pay with the credit card, you give her information, then you go to payment info. Again, none of your information is shared with the city. It's kept secure by a third party. And then finally, the other option is just to pay in person, which does require an appointment with the city staff, which can be found back on our community development webpage. Now, to show what happens after you make a payment, we're going to jump to a different application that I have open. We're going to go down here and let's jump into permit 336. So what I just showed you is your typical building permit with several steps. However, we have optimized a few of our more likely permit applications, such as re-roofing. You can see re-roofing, the number of steps is much shorter. It's an automated process up to a certain point. So for this one, we've already paid our permit. So we can go to print document to get our permit document. Another way to get your permit documents is going back to your account. And you'll see here, there's always a section permits and documents that have been issued. And I can pull up my re-roof permit right there. Now when I hit print document, it shows me the document there. I'll close the print screen. And there, I have my permit right there anytime I need it. Now we'll go back, and the next step is how to set up the inspection. Here, we'll go to that inspection step, and you'll see the directions right here. All of our current scheduling options does require you to call the city to verbally request the inspection. We do not accept requests via comment section. This is something that we are moving forward to potentially offer an online inspection request option. And that will hopefully be rolled out later here in the near future. But right now, you just call and inspections are offered the following day. Now, one other option that I want to show you, or a permit type, is we've reviewed a standard building permit. We've reviewed a streamlined re-roof request permit. And then finally, we do have a new Solar App Plus option, which offers automated solar requests for permitting. To get information on that, you can find it here on the Benicia website, which is just under departments, under our building division. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see automated residential solar permitting. This is the informational section of that, but it all still happens on the permitting website. So it's just another option. I've already started one here, and I'm going to show you at that one labeled Solar App Solar Permit. If I jump into that, you'll see how short those options are because it's all very quick automated process. So I set up just an example permit, a couple of things that are required to do a solar app permit. First off, you do need to start at the Solar App Plus website. That's where you actually enter your information, such as all the solar equipment that will be used. And then that will use their automated AI technology to review it and provide a approval ID number, as well as a few documents. That approval ID number is what you come over to the City of Benicia webpage and you enter it here in the solar application. You'll see an example in the form. Then you provide some basic information on your installation, such as solar size, job valuation, and check mark. Now, once you've entered your information, it'll take you right to making the payment. That has already been waived on this demonstration. And then you can get your permit just like that, all within just a matter of minutes. Now going back to next schedule the inspection, you just are going to call in and request your inspection from the city that way. If you do have any additional questions or comments on the Solar App Plus feature, feel free to reach out to the city at any time. We're more than happy to help walk you through, as this is an exciting new option that the city is pretty proud to be offering. Now, to complete, we're going to jump back to our webpage here and just want to provide any additional resources or questions, comments. That concludes the tutorial for obtaining a permit and getting your inspection scheduled. If you have any questions, please reach out and have a great day.